Let's move right on down to the list on my favorite position, the offensive line. And you saw how many of those guys were either potentially on the cut or free agent list. Cornelius Lucas, Lawson, and Sadiq Charles. I mean, shout out to our guys Ab and Alex. Ab was saying, in reality, we could get 4 new offensive linemen.
Yes,
because Cosme's it. Wiley didn't pan out, and the other guys, obviously injuries. Nick Gates definitely didn't work. Which let me stay right here for a second. 2 years in a row, Will, and I know this is on the old regime, but 2 years in a row, we signed guards and our tackles or something, and both years they failed. Yeah. We got Trey Turner and Adam Norwell, and that was supposed to be everything, but when we didn't catch on that we got him for pennies, and we got him for daggone peanuts, and we saw how that played out. And then this year you get Wiley, who comes over with the enemy from the Chiefs, and then Gates, who broke his leg against us. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, wait a minute. I mean, we've been so focused on us not getting linebackers and secondary that we didn't even think about the fact that, we have talked about it, but it's just, what in the world? That's like, are we the place, the island for lost toys and misfit linemen? Like, right. Come on now. So where would you think? Are we going all draft? Because I could see a vision of us going draft. Or is this a free agent thing? Are we picking up big names?
Man, you're right when I say I don't know, because we might have to be replacing 4 spots. But because Cosme is the only person you can write in pen as our starter next year. However, here's something that's kind of interesting. The fans may not like this, but both Charles Leno and Andrew Wiley were the next best rated linemen on our team at their positions. While you and I saw Andrew Wiley be a turnstile at right tackle, he actually graded out better than what people realize. We thought Tyler Larson was a solid center. Larson had worse grades if you went by the PFF analytics on a game-by-game basis. And so there may be more life in those guys than what fans believe in them. One of the easy thing right now with Charles Leno is you got to figure out is what are you going to do with him? He has a $15 million bump this year. So $15 million for Charles Leno. Not exactly if he's worth that much. If you were to release him, you would have a cap savings about half of that. So again, you could turn $7-8 million into somebody else. But now you're having to replace a left tackle. So that's a very important position. And I'm not so sure free agency has that. Now, maybe the draft does. I certainly think it does. So that could be a reason. But we may not be able to revamp this entire offensive line, all 4 positions in one off season to make us set for the next 5 years. Like this may be a work in progress. This may be we can improve certain spots, but not all of them. So I do think we need to be a little bit cautious here. You're right to say that Nick Gates doesn't deserve to be a starter, and he doesn't. But you can't cut him because he has a $5 million salary and a $5 million cap hit. So you're netting nothing. So you might as well keep him on your roster as a backup because he can be a center, he can be a guard. He's your position flex type player. One idea that I have with Wiley would be to move him to guard. He had played that in Kansas City. He had played it slightly better than he did at tackle. Tackle was one of his least successful positions. And maybe you move Wiley into guard and let him play there. Because one of the things that we're not sure about with this offensive line is what do we do with Ricky Stromberg? And I'm going to take the hit there because I love this guy. I love this pick. But he got hurt halfway through the season, so we didn't get a chance to find out what we have there. Do we have next year's starting center? Do we have next year's potential guard? Do you let Wiley Stromberg duke it out? Winner gets to be the starter at left guard. We don't know. So that's one where it's like we got a player here, but we really don't know what his potential is. The other one is I'm wondering is, can Charles Leno play right tackle? Are you able to save him for one more season and just slide him over away from left tackle? I don't know if he can translate. I can't answer that question. But is that a way to move some pieces around and we could draft a left tackle really high in the second round with our first pick of the second round? And there you've got a quarterback at 1, you've got a left tackle, to protect his blind side with your second pick, and you're starting to revamp the line. So I'm going to stop there and let you give some thoughts, and I've got some ideas on free agency as well the draft, but I want to give you a chance to add some stuff.
Yeah, first and foremost, most of Scott's comments are trying to crack us, make us laugh, but this one was actually decent. Rams released Brian Allen at center. Who knows? Yeah. We'll see. We'll take a look at that. This is where I say draft, and I mean, obviously, where I said quarterback, I would have, get it at 2. But if by chance we do trade back, then it's Joe Alt. I want him, that tackle, because to your point, I think everybody in house, and when I say in house, I mean in Washington, especially us fans, are saying we want to turn around. Same thing we had last year when Dan Snyder was out. Then it was like, well, we want to turn around. We want to be better. We want to. And I think to your point and to the point of Josh Harris, that this could be a slow process. Mm-hmm. This could be something where you're going to get a couple guys having to play together for a couple years and maybe struggle together and then learn together. I think the X factor, one of the things you were saying, is our former draft pick, Stromberg. We don't know. We don't know what he is and what he can bring to the table. If he lives up to the expectations that you had for him coming out last year, I mean, that could potentially be a hole that's taken away. We don't know. But I do think you hit the nail on the head with competition. And this is why I think we need to, where we went DBs, a secondary early last year, I think we need to go O-line, and I think we need to hit a couple. What we tried to do with getting Stromberg, then getting Daniels, we need to do that, but I agree a little higher, maybe in the second round where we got Cosme, and let's get these guys in here so we know the anticipation is that they're going to play, and they're going to get in here, and they're going to play soon, immediately. I want a situation kind of like the Lions, you know what I mean, where these guys are playing – they're getting on the field right away. And even if they struggle, that's fine, because I don't think it's that experience that what we want. At this age, you want experience, yes, and that'd be great to get somebody that's 36, 37, 38. But I mentioned that earlier to you, age. Mm-hmm. With Leno and Larson, they're both 32, going on 33. If we want this to be something that's going to go not just this year, not just next year, but for the next 10 years, we do need to get younger linemen, and we need to get a number of linemen. I know you guys rag on me all the time because I'm getting 14 linemen, but in my world, we never have to worry about an O-line because it's truly next man up. We're always getting in guys, and they're truly competing with each other. So, yeah, the draft is where I'm looking. I mean, there's a number of guys as we can pick up in free agency that, could be, look, Dwayne Brown. I know he's 38, but it's solid left tackle. It's going to be a high price. Connor Williams at center used to play with Dallas, and he was with Miami last year. He's pretty solid. Brian Allen is there. Like he's 28. Some of these guys are younger guys, so I would be okay with that. But for me, yeah, let's definitely go into the draft and look that way. So you were talking draft. This is Alex. What's up, Alex?
Alex. All right.
What were you thinking in the draft?
Yeah, well, I'm going to add a little bit of free agency too, because I think you're right. I think it needs to be a combo. We got to figure out what we got with Ricky Stromberg, and can he be around? I think in some capacity we need two bookends, and they both may need to be new. I think that in an ideal world we're going to pick in the second round, that first pick, we're going to pick a left tackle. So we've got a young left tackle for years to come. And that's where I say, can Leno move to right tackle, or is that where we look in free agency for someone who can be a part of that? Jonah Williams of the Bengals. Trent Brown's, I think it has or is going to be cut by the Patriots, although they've got into some major issues. I've heard, I may pronounce this guy's name wrong, Michael Onwenu by New England may get cut as a right tackle. Could he be a possibility? Could we spend some money on a right tackle and then draft a left tackle? And then we've kind of solidified some of the bookends. At guard, this could be something where we do, one of the opposites. Do we spend money on a Jonah Jackson, the top free agent guard coming from Detroit, and really solidify both guard spots there, and then we kind of patch up the tackles with draft picks. Connor Williams is a great name. Cody Whitehair just got cut by the Bears, so there's some guys out there. One thought I had: if you think Stromberg has a chance at left guard, what if you were to get someone from like the Ravens, Kevin Zeitler? He's older, but you're not asking him to play 17 games, but you're asking him to be there, and you're grooming Stromberg to take over at some point in the season. If you say Stromberg can transition. So maybe we go that route. And then you can look at center. Where are you getting a Brian Allen who got cut? Are you spending money on a Lloyd Cushenberry, on a Tyler Biadasz from Dallas? Some of these guys, these free agents, or are you picking a Zach Frazier high to be your starting center and move in? I kind of feel like we got to do a combination of use free agency to add a body or two, and then you said utilize the draft for some guards. Cooper Beebe, Christian Haynes, Zach Zinter. Does his injury push him down a little bit so that we're able to kind of come in and get him a little bit later? So this is the chess pieces that they have to figure out. But I'm with you where I think we need to be patient, where I don't know if you can actually fully replace, unless you're playing Madden, I don't know if you can replace 4 starters along the offensive line in one offseason.
Yeah. Yeah. To your point, you're talking about Connor Beebe. And you know what? Another thing I think we should also look at, since we know this is going, so we know this is going to be a long-term thing, or at least we kind of hope that we can build something for the future. I think we need to take a little time and look at a guy that got hurt last year that we talked about, Voorhees of USC. I think it was left tackle. I think it was. He had come in as one of the best left tackles, and then he tore his ACL in the combine, but continued to do the bench press and did record numbers and did all the other things, all the things that he could do.
Sure.
That thoroughly impressed me last year. And I know I talked to you guys about it because that shows that, hey, other people would have been like, oh, it's done. There's no point. There's no point in me doing any of this. But he still wanted to show that dedication. That means he's in it for the long term. And obviously, I don't want to get guys that might have injury history, but there is something about these guys that have been able to fight through it and make their way back, because it's a different mindset. And now you're going in it kind of like, okay, I can work with it. And I know what it takes to get here. So if my counterpart then gets hurt, I can help him mentally along. And that's the experience that I'm talking about, especially with the line. We need people here in-house that are going to know how to handle every type of situation. Because what's the one thing that we've dealt with on the O-line last several years? Injuries. We've been dealing with injuries a lot and getting that next man up and all that stuff, man. So it's going to be quite interesting. They said, Will, you hit that, had the nail, replacing 4 bodies in 22 all over again. Can we assume the coach will help us with a better start?
Right. It's going to be hard. We got to find a way to put Andrew Wiley somewhere. And I say that to say he's probably going to be on this roster. So now we got to figure out a way to utilize him, because if Spot Track is correct, he's due to make $9 million next year. If you cut him, he's a dead cap of 7.8, so almost $8 million. You're not saving anything by cutting this guy. Right. So you might as well find a way to put him on the roster. If you move Wiley to left guard and draft a Zach Zinter, let Zach ease into the season. Maybe he can play next year. I'm not exactly sure, but maybe they can duke it out. But that would be an opportunity to where you're not fixing all the leaks, but you're finding a way to try something new at it, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. And look, at the end of the day, like you said, I don't think it's about fixing all the leaks right now. I think right now it's about securing a core, getting a camaraderie, getting a togetherness between these guys so that they are able to play better. What's the one thing we talked about over the last couple of years, especially in our secondary? Communication. Where else is it more important to have communication than along that O-line? Mm-hmm. How many times did we say last year, that they're calling protections and Sam's not listening, or they're not getting back and forth? That needs to be locked down. We need to have all that stuff locked down. And the way to do that is getting guys in-house and having guys that have the same mindset and working together. And hey, look, health, get a health and safety.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, seriously, we need to get healthy. I know that's hard to say, but that's something that the reason why I get so many linemen whenever we do these mock drafts is because health has always been our Achilles heel. And that's what's going to stop us going forward. So it might take some time. We might have to go through some younger guys or some guys that are older, but might have a little injury issue just because we're getting that nook. We're getting these guys together, and I'm here for it. I'm excited for it, but cautiously optimistic.
Right. Absolutely. Plus, maybe if we get a quarterback who gets rid of the ball quicker, we don't have to worry about our offensive line.
Okay. Well, we're moving along. We're moving lighter along. Oh, can we please get Spencer Rattler so we can rock him? This guy.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is.